Order. For Thursday, September 26th, 2024. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Tracy, roll call, please.
Don Sonabella,
Here.
Wayne Schmidt, Glenn Elfire,
Yes.
Joe Underwood, Doug Seifert, Brad Jewett,
Here.
and Ricky Cocker.
Here. First, public comment.
Any interested party or person may address the board on any matter of board concern during the public comment. Comments will be limited to 5 minutes, and a 1-minute warning will be given when needed. Any public comment that becomes disruptive, unduly repetitive, or impedes the orderly progress of the meeting may be terminated by the proceeding officer. Once you have completed your public comment, the board may ask any clarifying questions. If needed, you'll be assigned a member of BATA staff to follow up directly on any open concerns.
I'm Linda Jaffe, 1861 Outer Avenue, London. I'd like to thank Kelly and at least 2 of the BATA drivers that were at the GTI open house today. It was a reminder to me of how important BATA is to the vulnerable adults that go to work at GTI and travel all over this city. And I'm particularly interested because BATA, I know, is a member of Neighborhood Watch. And in the past, I've had experience with how much BATA looks out for all the individuals riding the buses, their living situations, the whole thing, and keep track of them. And so I just want to say, I hope they're continuing their watch, taking care of these people who are riding the buses, very vulnerable people who are subject to all types of people riding these buses, predators and the alike. So again, thank you for being there, and please stay aware of who's riding the buses.
Thank you.
So my name's just Reed. I want to say that I have had contact with BATA and I've got quick response. And the only thing that I would critique is that I used the app for a link out to the airport for the sister office apartments. And I had an early flight, and I could not get a link out there until like 7 o'clock in my, and the link app only had a 655. So I called BATA, I mentioned that, and they said, well, we only have a driver that comes in at 655. You can't get earlier than that. But okay, so I'm hoping that maybe if in the future that there could be some possibility of a pilot program for the airport for those people who have to have early flights in from the city into other parts. But I think with the airport expansion that you're doing is, I think that a pilot would be the best interest of BATA. Just because of all the numbers of like people coming here during this time and all. Thank you.
Any others? If not, do I have a motion To approve the agenda for the September 26, 2024 regular board of directors meeting as presented.
So moved.
Support. Or any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent calendar. Purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with in one board motion without discussion. Any member of the board, staff, or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected. If an item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted on the agenda is approved by a single board action adopting the consent calendar. Consideration of approving the following minutes: regular board of directors meeting minutes of August 15th, 2024. Special board of directors meeting minutes of September 5th, 2024. Consideration of accepting the following minutes and reports: the August income statement, the BATA board tracker, staff recommendation or staff compliment. Is any item?
Motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to Kelly, if you would please.
Yeah, great. Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here this afternoon. As you could see in my written report that was in the packet, it's been a lot of focus on the move to the new headquarters facility and operationalizing, Beta's day-to-day life out of that facility. So chasing down the little loose ends that remain on the punch list, creating new processes and procedures, for how we launch service every day and, learning how to come and go from the new facility. What driveway to use, what roads to use, all the new patterns that have to be created, right? So, lot of excitement around the new facility. It is challenging, but I'm not hearing negativity, which is really great. And people understand that, yeah, everything isn't gonna be, completely ironed out on day one. We've got to figure some of these things out. We're still tying up some of the loose ends around technology implementations, and staff is being very patient, and I think we're making great progress and getting there a little bit each day. So the due diligence is continuing on the diamond purchase. We had accepted the purchase agreement from Katie Bertodato. She's continuing on that. Did another walkthrough with they're already owners, but soon to be taking occupancy of the Cass Road facility. Bob Rowe from Precision Plumbing and Heating. Yesterday, our IT team did a handover of any of the technology pieces that he needs to be aware of in the new facility, and so that was really helpful. And they're getting ready to do their renovations that they're gonna be doing, which is all inside the building. But Garfield Township is still requiring a fair amount of things from them to be completed. So they're working their way through that approval process and hoping to get their land use permit granted soon. What else? Oh, we were awarded a $5,000 grant from the Grand Traverse Regional Community Foundation. That was an exciting grant that will allow us to put slow chargers in at the public park and ride lot. So we can offer charging while people use public transportation to commute downtown and incentivize that use that way. So
They're level two,
I'm sorry,
they're level two,
I think this grant is for level 1 chargers,
okay,
the slow charger,
yeah,
and also inexpensive.
yeah, you're right.
So you
Fine,
buy
yeah.
the three, then?
Yeah, so we could do, we haven't figured out exactly what that would look like, but I think it would be an incentive package where we would offer free parking, free charging. And then they would use BATA to get to
Cool.
eventually.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So that's exciting. And then also, just a reminder of our events coming up next week. So to clarify, there are two events, the ribbon cutting, which all of you, I mean, you're welcome to come to both, but the one on October 3rd from 4 to 6 is the ribbon cutting that we will have members of the FTA and MDOT and some legislators there speaking. That is the like stakeholders invitation only event. That Saturday, 2 days later, we are also hosting a block party for the public from 11 to 2. And that one is more informal. We would be providing hot dogs and we'll have the ice cream truck on site and more of an afternoon family fun activity kind of thing. So mark your calendars.
When will the propane fueling station be complete up there?
Well, that's a great question. It is complete. However, we don't have full use of it yet. We're waiting on the final inspection from Lara. There was some paperwork that didn't get completed and they dropped the ball and nobody knew it until it came time to get that final inspection. And then we found out that there was another piece to that process that didn't get completed. So we are waiting for that and expect it any day. Actually, it could still come yet this week. And then we need to be equipped with a flash drive for the driver pins. And so then we'll be using it hopefully at the beginning of next week.
They still fueling down at Gas Road?
Yeah, we are, and we do have permission from Bob Rowe to continue fueling there if we need to. But our preference would be to start using
yeah,
the fueling site on site, yeah. Yeah, just the usual. So waiting for the permit, application, final inspection, all of that stuff. Any other questions from my report? Or anything I forgot to mention, staff? No?
Chairperson's report, Monday, September 30th, we'll have the oral argument regarding the Grand Traverse County Board of Commissioners motion for summary judgment or disposition.
When is that?
That's Monday.
Okay.
So that'll kind of give us what direction we're going.
There's two motions being heard as
That's her too.
concurrently. Our motion to amend the complaint and
Oh,
the
that's
company's
right.
motion
Yeah.
for summary disposition.
Yeah,
The
they're
judge has agreed to hear them concurrently.
concurrently. And again, I would just like to say, had certain individuals lived up to their fiduciary responsibility, they would have brought these three boards together and this all would have been avoided. But certain individuals did not do that. And they should be held accountable for it. And they should reimburse all three boards for all resources, time, money, energy spent. There's no excuse for it whatsoever.
We'll let the courts decide that, Richard.
Excuse me?
I said, we'll let the courts decide that.
Yeah, we will, Brad.
Yep.
And I'll stop right there. Old business.
There's some.
There we go. On to new business. Fiscal year 24, Q1 and Q2 impact index results.
Yeah, so in the packet, on page 17, and this is, you'll see the existing organization impact index and, for reporting out right now, Q1 and Q2. It's a little bit of a delay in reporting as we were working through the, refresher to the strategic plan and trying to dovetail these scorecards together from existing scorecards into the new scorecard. As you'll see, we've added the community value component there, but don't yet have measurables on that one. So it got a little clunky, over the past year and trying to produce this in a readable format. So, needless to say, here we are with Q1 and Q2. Planning to bring Q3 and Q4 to you at the December board meeting. And then we'll be moving into the, fiscal 25 impact index. And we'll talk about that one on the next agenda item, but, the results from Q1 and Q2 are in the packet. I don't think I necessarily need to read each of them unless you have questions about any of them. I'm happy to answer. But the overall scores on Q1 and Q2,
So,
were 93 out of 100.
Yeah, there's a performance goal that's listed under this column, the same as performance goal. It didn't change. This was like 2023, this is 2024.
So the 2023 benchmark shows what the performance from 23 was.
Right.
The goal shows how we are hoping to move the needle, if we're hoping to move the needle on that.
Okay, so that was the goal for 23, that's really the
That was
goal
the
for,
performance.
yes,
The benchmark is the performance.
but the performance goal indicated here is the goal for 24.
Correct.
yeah,
Over here.
Yeah.
Okay. Just confusing in the wrong column. It's just. Yeah, I mean,
probably if we put 2024 performance.
What would be easier to,
it's fine, I understand.
Okay.
I figured, I just assumed that was it, but
okay,
Yeah,
it looks like the performance goal was for the benchmark for 23.
okay.
Okay.
We can put
93
And
stuff.
maybe it's not important for you to see the 23 benchmark.
Yeah, I really.
I don't know.
It's, doesn't really matter to me, the 23.
Yeah.
just put 2024 in that heading too.
Yeah,
yeah, that's, just 2024 was the
Okay.
performance goal.
You see what I mean?
yeah, we can decide that.
Because it is kind of nice to be able to see where we were
Yeah,
the prior year. It's just like a financial statement. I mean, it's like, it's on,
Yeah.
last year, it's on what.
I do ask that question every once in a while. Sometimes I ask it for the past 2
That's 3
years,
years.
sometimes.
Yeah,
sometimes.
no, that's good.
Yeah,
I have a question.
Yeah.
Since I'm newly back. Promoters versus detractors, so people who give negative responses to a survey or people just habitual detractors?
people that respond that they would not recommend our service to others, or if it's an employee one, recommend employment. I'm not sure which one you're looking at.
Well, I got stuck on the first.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I've been stuck there.
Detractors are people that say they wouldn't recommend riding BATA. Basically, it's 6 and under, or what is the?
Yeah, so we only take, we take anyone that recommends and anyone neutral or negative, we count as a detractor. So only those that recommend and then.
So neutral is a detractor.
We also include neutral as a detractor. They're not going, it's an industry standard, the net promoter score
Yeah,
that you utilize. Yeah,
industry being customer service, not
Sorry.
transportation.
customer service.
I'm just trying to differentiate from the people who email me
So
and they never
Those would be
ride, they
detractors.
just,
those would be detractors, and if they took the survey,
I mean, if we're talking about the one person.
it would,
yeah.
it would fall into that category.
Other, if not, do I have a motion to accept the fiscal year 24 Q1 and Q2 impact index results?
Still moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. On to the fiscal year 25 impact index and workflow.
Yeah, so for this one, we flipped to the strategic plan, and I think I had said it was on page 12, although I think they did not remember. Yeah. Where the groundbreaking photo is.
I'm lying, you're on there with numbers.
I don't know.
They're numbered on the,
Oh, they are, but
Yeah,
they're
they are.
numbered in white, so they're,
We don't see.
you don't see them on the white pages.
Oh,
Details.
Page 12, you can see.
There.
So,
Oh, this is it?
Yeah, it's on your left side.
so just as a
Down
reminder,
there.
especially for those,
Thank you.
that weren't maybe here or on board at the time that we adopted the strategic plan. So this is a 2024 to 2026 strategic plan that was adopted by the board. The work plan component of the plan was not ready when we adopted the plan. So we wanted to come back to you with the projects that support the, outcomes identified on the impact index. So that's what you'll see in the packet, a detailed listing, of each of those projects, the quarterly milestones, the owner of the project, a high level description of the project, and then the header of it, which is color coded, is the outcome that it ties to, that it supports on the impact index. And the impact index itself is on page 39. No, that goes back to black. Page numbers on my copy, so I don't know. So this will be the impact index that will be filmed now for 25, much like the one that was accepted from 24, with some small tweaks on the goals. But those are the, performance measurement components. Any questions?
Need a motion?
Yes, so I would normally ask for your approval on a work plan type of document. As you can see, the items are very internal. But because I have it in the impact index at one two, that is something I like to have board approval of.
I'll make a motion to accept 2025 impact index work plan as presented.
Right, I have a second.
I'll support that. I do have a question though.
Sure.
As we compare the, let me find it again, under the financial success operating expense per mile, we can see where quarter one and quarter two were significantly higher than what we had projected, what our benchmark was, but on the 25 plan, the benchmark is still the same as what it was previously. I mean,
Yeah, we haven't set an improvement goal around the financial metrics. We've set maintaining benchmarks. Mostly because of how many things are changing within the financial realm, between the revenue sources and the operating costs associated with the new facility and all of that. It just felt like the prudent thing to do would be to keep things consistent, and if we can keep things consistent, that's good.
one of those guys, I just kind of thought maybe there'd be somewhat of a cost escalator put in for 25, knowing that a lot of these costs have gone up, but not come back down. And stuff, so, I mean, I'm fine with leaving it at 535. I was just wondering why that didn't increase a little bit,
Yeah. I mean, it's to the board. If you want to increase it, that's your prerogative, on the goal there, but otherwise, we report it out as is, and that will show us where we're at,
Right. No, I mean, I can see both ways, both sides of it and everything. I just see, when I look at quarter one and quarter two, and we are above that.
Trending.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't see that coming back down. So.
Yeah.
But I think 535 is a good goal if we think we can.
We can always modify that goal going forward after we see a full year of 24. I think just with only 2 quarters
Mhm.
under our belt, that's a little like, maybe we should see where we are in December, around the finance goals, and we can always adjust it at that time.
Okay. No, that's one thing I was wondering.
It's a good observation.
Yeah, when everything changes,
Mhm.
it'll be interesting to see how this.
Yeah, there's a lot of new dynamics that's gonna go into, especially the financial side of it
Mhm.
and everything, so.
And what we're seeing in 24 is a result of a 25% wage increase
Mhm.
for the frontline employees.
Yeah, and that's something, I was thinking it was more along the wages and everything, but that's not gonna change
No.
in 25, so. But we can look at it in December and see if it needs to be adjusted.
Yeah. Mhm.
Further discussion?
Just a comment, relative to the, way this is laid out, I'm somewhat familiar with this kind of a format, so I really like it.
Mhm.
as far as the accountability and the timeline, who's responsible for what project. It looks like your whole team is engaged in this, and so it's very well done. The other thing that, there is a green, red light system that you could show where you're at and status by the
Mhm.
individual quarters,
Mhm.
green would be a good, yellow, so you're not quite there, red, you're way off, and
Yeah.
just from a, communication standpoint, but this is just really well done, and I was like, and I will tell you, coming out of the strategic planning process, I didn't see a lot of meat on the bone. And then, all of a sudden I see this yesterday, and I'm like, oh, so they just like did all that stuff without me having to say something about it. So it's kind of nice, right? It's like, that's great. I just thought it was really well done, and, there's a lot in here, and everybody's engaged. There's some new things, there's some mentor program I
Yeah.
saw, and
Yeah.
after hours plan, I'll be really interested to see how that's gonna work out, so.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah,
So how often will we review this with the board?
well, so the quarterly impact index will be reported on.
Okay.
But I think what you're suggesting is a summary of the, like, red, green, yellow of the work plan. Are we on track or not?
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea, to summarize it in a spreadsheet that just reports out whether or not we're on track.
Cause you wanna wait till the end of the year and also, oh, so we didn't get this done, well, what the heck?
Yeah,
We've been doing.
yeah, it's a good check. I think we can add a component to the quarterly board report that reports out progress
Yeah, it's good.
without, yeah.
There's a lot in here.
Yep, there is, and it's a great tool. It drives
It
a lot of
is.
the work that we do inside the organization, keeps everybody organized and on the same page.
Are these individual performance evaluations tied in with the result of this?
That's the missing link.
Oh,
That's the
there's a
missing
little
link.
gap there.
There is
Okay.
a little gap there. We've toyed with that and not pulled the trigger on it yet, but
Yeah, you might
maybe
get up
next
to the
year.
big leagues and do that
I
sometime.
know. It's not forgotten.
Okay.
Any further? If not, all in favor?
Right.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to strategic communications plan presentation, Eric and Jennifer Lake.
Yeah, so I'll start it off. So as part of the strategic planning process, one of the things that was identified and is also in the impact index that you guys just reviewed was community value. One of the things that we found out in the process and the discussion was BATA does a good job with our day-to-day communications, our marketing activities and things like that, promoting new service development, highlighting events and activities that we do in the community, all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that we were lacking is that ongoing community value, education, awareness, activities. We heard during the strategic planning process and people outside of the walls of BATA, like, oh, I didn't know you had a Bay Line route that is free to ride. Oh, I didn't know that you had hourly service that goes to Interlochen. Oh, I didn't know that you had a link service that's door to door that can come in and pick me up and I can schedule via an app or online. And one of the things that was also kind of culminating out of that was not only to feel value to the people that we serve, but also the people that don't use BATA, okay? The folks that know that public transit is important in our community, but they don't utilize it. And so how can we get messaging out there to kind of fill that gap? So that was one of the things that came out of the session. So we've been in the process of putting a plan together and identifying a whole slew of activities and communications and messaging to roll out to kind of build that community value up. And it's going to be, a year and more of a process to kind of do that. But working with Brand Tonic, and this is Jennifer Lake here, I'll hand it over to her in a second. I think we've identified a really good approach. One of the things that you'll see here, we did map out what the budget looks like for the year. So these funds are already included in our fiscal year 25 budget. for marketing and communications. This is just identifying how we want to allocate those funds and how we want to be able to utilize them to move the needle. So this is the game plan of how we'd like to do that. We wanted to share that with you guys today and get some feedback. Okay. Now with that, I'll hand it over to Jennifer.
Yeah, thanks for having me today. So I know in your packet, you know, a lot of stuff from us, and I won't read this to you word for word. I'm just gonna hit some highlights. But when we come into an organization, we have a discovery phase where we get to know what you're about, who you're serving, what the challenges have been, where the confusion points are. And we kind of put that all together. It was research and focus groups that we've done over the last several months. We come back with messaging points, like here are the key messages that we feel that BATA needs to keep putting out there consistently because of the findings that we have from our research. And then we say, okay, here are the words, here's the tone of our brand, and here's what we visually want to look like. We want to freshen up a little bit. We want to be a little bit more engaging in our look and surprise people. So tell stories more about BATA. And so we put those things together, then we go, okay, we're going to implement it, and here's our work plan. So we have a year-long communication plan that outlines every tactic, and here's the messaging point we're gonna put with that, here's the visual we're gonna put with that, and here's how we're gonna implement it. So there's a lot of stuff in here, but that's kind of the process that we've been going through. So it's very exciting. But the biggest thing that we saw from our survey information, from our focus groups, as we're talking with their team, was that there's a lack of awareness, as Eric was just talking about, down to things like people don't know what the routes are. They don't know what a BATA line is versus the city loop versus the village loop. They don't know where you go. They don't know how to ride. And so there are some barriers there for people who may, the people who we found that who need BATA, who are with you, they know how to do it. They're up to speed, but there's another layer that we're missing that we want to reach, the people who could use BATA if they just had that information or just encouraged a little bit more. So we want to do that through means of marketing. So in your packet, you know, there's some brand messaging key points that I just want to highlight. So we really want to focus in some of our tactics, what a city loop route is, what that means, what the village loop route means, that we have student routes to schools that we can help you with. That link isn't on demand, it's like an Uber, it's, you know, you can call and schedule it that. There's some confusion on that even. So it's gonna feel like we're going back to basics for some of you who understand BATA so well, but for our outer reaching layers of people, audiences that we're trying to reach, this is still something we have to continue and be consistent on. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. Just along with, you know, how fares can be paid. How does apps work? We want to put together small videos on social media and really walk people through that, be helpful and educating to that. But casual. Our voice and our tone, and you're going to see this in some of the visuals, are going to really be friendly and engaging. So we don't want to be intimidating, of course, but we want to be accessible to everyone. And then in the packet, there's some of these like important service benefits to our region. So these are things that are the value added to the community, like better access to the essentials, like school, work, healthcare, recreational activities. This is going to make life better for everyone. That's why we're here. Boosting the local economies. We can provide, you know, rides. We can make it easier for people to shop, for their attractions, for the work, things like that. We're helping the environment. We've got, you know, different things that we can embrace public transportation that, you know, for some people, that's their message that they're gonna hold on to. We're really great partners. We work with our community. That's one of the things that really came to light for us in looking at BATA. They're so good at going out, building these partnerships with other organizations. And just, you know, you're driving prosperity in the region. So this is a vital, critical need and support to our community. We want to make sure people understand that. So just some of those overall messages. Read it tonight, enjoy that. And then you'll see like tone and personality. We want it to be very welcoming, neighborly. You're going to see in a lot of how we've written things. There's a casual tone, there's engagement, inviting kind of tone to it all. But we want this to be easy to understand. So our goals, if we bring up the brand theme, that's like the new board, that kind of visual ones, which is in here. So I like to explain these. These are what we call inspiration points. We put this together as like, here's kind of the visual of what you're going to look like. This is not like a brochure cover, not one particular ad. It's just a mood board that puts it all together. But I'm going to walk you through this a little bit. So the goal for for Beta in this marketing visual and this brand theme is to really bring some fresh energy into the brand, educate the public with simple graphics on how to use Beta. We take the Beta color palette of the green and blue and we added just a little bit of color, just a little bit of that gold color, a bit of a deeper blue, just to give us more, just make it a little fresher. But those colors just help us become inviting and really distinct. Photography, so this is where we want to go. We want to use real people, so we're working with a photographer and videographer to capture real writers, and so we want to show diversity. We want to show a student that goes out to the children's house every day and uses that. They love you guys. We want to show someone who's working, someone who's taking the scenic route up to Sutton's Bay for that might be wide, someone who's getting to their medical appointment. Because if we can take like this sector as opposed to that, so if you look at here, so this person takes this route from home, even around campus, we tell them a little snapshot story just in that graphic, which is so much better than writing out a paragraph. Over here, that scenic route. Over here, they're getting from home to work. They're getting to school. With Beta, I can ride and shine. With Beta, I'm in the loop. I'm in the know of things. I can get around. With Beta, I can take the scenic route. With Beta, I'm going places. So even in our phrasing of this campaign, there's a positive energy, there's a simplicity in how we're explaining how you get from here to here, but we're showing that you can go to school, work, do student activity, go to a medical appointment, see friends, connect with your family, connect with others. It's about connections in the community. This is just a visual of how we want to do that. As well as simple graphics of showing free along the bays. That's what the bay line is. It's free along the bays. The city loop is in Traverse City. The village loop is out to neighboring villages. Link, schedule on demand. So we're going to repeat these phrases about each of the services so people can start to understand them. So that's kind of what all of this is in your report pages. There's a couple of boards just to show you examples of where we're going to be taking the brand. So you'll see on the next page a sample digital ad, and then now we're clicking to the website, right into that scheduling page, or download the app. We'd love to wrap some of your buses, so that why not have your own advertisement on buses there, just to show that connection, direct mail. So we're talking about when a new route comes, or changes or develops, that we want to really target that neighborhood and enhance what you're already doing to reach those potential riders and introduce yourself to them. So that's kind of what that means in your packet on visual stuff. But again, yeah.
Well, on the social media and the digital, what's gonna trigger that to come to my computer? What's it gonna take for, because right now, I'm on the computer every day. I get all these ads for hunting equipment, everything I look at, but I don't get anything on Beta, right? So what's gonna trigger that for the average consumer, average potential rider to see that stuff?
So target those things, and I'll kind of get into that next piece.
Oh, my goodness,
Fine, you can go right into that. So here's just a snapshot of this large spreadsheet that we have in Google spreadsheets that we're sharing with the data communications team, where it outlines, here's kind of our focus. It's kind of the general focus of data awareness. And then each quarter we have a targeted focus. So our first targeted focus quarterly is going to be the Lafrena corridor, because that's where we're at over there. We want to introduce ourselves to our neighbors. So within each of those, we have different tactics. Part of our budget allotment is digital ads, because that's exactly what you're talking about. How do we show up in front of the right people?
Right.
So we can do that through social media. So we go in and we cater and we target each of those posts that we're sending out that are sponsored. So it's a paid ad on social media, but we can target by the region where they're at, by their interests, by their age, by their income levels, by if they have one car or multiple cars. Like there's all of these back end things when we're in that social media. So we'll be helping to manage those things on those sponsored posts to make sure that they target the right area and the right people who might need us. Then we'll also use like Google Ads. You've heard of that. So they have a broader audience that's outside of social media, that if people are interested in things in the region, that visitors come into the area, and we might target one quarter of visitors in the summertime. That if they come downtown, they might get pinged with a Google ad or something following them around, not following them around, but coming up in their feeds, or when they're searching for things to say, hey, did you know you could get from your hotel to downtown in 15 minutes on a free bus? That kind of thing. So it's all in the background of either Google or our social media. So that allotment of digital ads, we kind of put a bucket into the budget. And then we will use that throughout the year and manage that, see, okay, this was really working on social media better than Google ads over here, or we're seeing a real reach of people in Kingsley. Like they're finding those search terms really well, so we'll continue with that. So the plan is like not set in stone, we adapt it, but we have to watch it. So that's what we'll be working on, and then giving reports to the team at BATA so that we can all see how that's going. So that's just one of the bucket items that we'll be using. Thanks, your question. Yeah.
When you say senior center newsletter, are you doing it in the Leelanau Senior
That's
Services newsletter?
allocated, so we can look at both of those. That's like, if we looked at some Grand Traverse, so we just allocated a budget we can get to.
We need to do this, the Leelanau Senior Center
Great.
newsletter.
And we've focused a lot of our allocation more on the digital side, but we felt that that audience, there's still a nice place to be in the newsletters, whether they're electronic or print, because it's such a great audience for us. So we left our buckets a little bit broad so we can work within those depending on the placement. So that's something that we'll work with Eric and his team on through the year and kind of nuance those things. But in that overall bucket, plan, there is room for social, there's room for digital ads, there's the signage, so just your shelters, we might change some of the signs on out of those. None of those are for paid advertisers, but there's some open spots that we might want to promote our own things on. The buses, of course, as well. We're still doing some broadcast TV and radio that we have in our accounts. So we're going to be doing new videos, new commercial spots. But right now they're focused on hiring, but we're going to get to this new campaign stuff and new messaging with our writers and things like that. And then, so this gives us like kind of a nice comprehensive plan. So in this plan, what's really exciting for us is that it's all outlined for the whole year. Here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen each quarter. Here's what Brand Talent will do. Here's what the Beta team will do. Here's what another partner will do, and other partners involved. So that there's an accountability line. And Brand Talent will have to manage that through the year. But I know Eric and his team are like, yes, we have everything outlined. There's still a little bit of room for wiggle. So if something comes up, an opportunity like, hey, somebody approached us, we really want to help them with this, we're going to place an ad in their particular release. We've got some room to do that and move it around. But what I do like is that we are planned out. We know where our quarterly targets are going to be for next year for the most part. That helps us build the creative ahead of time and like place things on time and really be able to track everything. And that's what I love on the digital side. We can track hits to the website, we can track downloads of the app. And we want to see ridership go up in those regions as well. So we'll be looking at that. So it is, like Eric said, a year more program to get this off and going, but we've got really good tactics in place that work in this region, and we want to embrace people and we want to adjust. And it just gives everyone the great plan so that we're efficient and effective and measurable.
So Jennifer hit on, go ahead.
Do you communicate with the tribe as well to let them know what your services are?
We do, yeah, they're in our loop as
Okay.
well, but this gives us a greater opportunity to even expand that beyond, because mostly it's just about service related stuff, or anytime they need support on things. But this is more of an ongoing message that we'll be able to communicate.
And how about Leelanau Christian Neighbors?
On Leland Christian Neighbors, we definitely do beta 101s and things like that. So we'll continue to do that kind of stuff. But again, this will take it to another level. So Jennifer hit on, what does success look like? Okay, so a lot of those things are outlined in the impact index, the metrics. So increasing ridership, a community value survey to gauge if we increased our community value metric at all. We can track directly, like she said, web hits, app usage, all that kind of stuff. So we'll be able to report, did we move the needle on any of those things based on these activities that we've outlined for the year?
And what I do really like, to your point, Beta's team does such a great job of outreach and getting into groups and talking with different organizations. We were blown away by that. You don't see that very often when we work with other organizations. So we loved that. This is the side piece to reach beyond that or be a top of mind after you meet with those people. Or, so it's a really a coordinated effort with what they're already doing. This is like another effort.
I'd love to go into a meeting and be like, oh yeah, I just heard about this from Beta, instead of being the one that's introducing the topic or the service or whatever, so that there's already a kind of a benchmark or a level of knowing what services we have.
That's really important in Leelanau too, because people don't see, and we have so few routes, but the link service is so important for the people who need it. So getting people aware is huge
Yeah.
for you to keep getting your millage.
It's pretty amazing that people know Beta exists, but they don't really know what Beta does.
Right.
You
No,
know, and that's where the value comes in and you know, when people do know. And it's not necessarily that they're gonna use it, but they know somebody that could.
and they might have to use it someday,
Yeah,
but,
I mean,
but shoring that up is important.
Any other questions? For me, I know I just talked really fast, but it's all in there. I have the
let's say you got a lot of energy. A lot of it.
great stuff. It's great. And it's exciting to work with the organization and, we're like big beta fans now. We're all out here. We didn't realize before how much we're doing.
It's an exciting plan.
Yes, I'm always curious as to how you get the hits when you're out there. You know, how is it they, you know, I know it's, yeah, I know it's like they're doing that algorithm on you every time you log on and, you know,
Yeah.
and, you know, that's just, I don't give any thanks. It's boring and interrupting.
Really? Oh, yeah.
I don't get it jumping on.
Go look at a piece of equipment or something.
Oh, yeah.
Just talk about it.
Yeah, true, talk about
I
it.
already bought this house for $4.
You're probably getting emails right now.
I am. Where's, are you guys based out of Traverse? I couldn't find a site for it.
So on the numbers here under broadcast, it says, radio, continue or renew trade. What is the renew trade? What are we trading?
So, we have an agreement with Black Diamond Broadcasting, and they have, on the back of a lot of our buses, logos for their different radio stations. And so for that trade, they give us airtime.
That's what I thought it was, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Do we have an actual dollar value?
It is, yeah, it's actually $30,000 worth of airtime spread across our system, and we share it with Kalkaska Transit and Charlotte Transit, because their radio stations go beyond just Traverse City. And so, Wayne Stevens, who's our advertising, who you guys have met before, coordinates that deal with them.
That's what I thought was, I just want to make sure. And then one other question is kind of probably a follow up with what Gwen had said there in the print ads. It says senior center newsletter. As I read that, I mean, I read that as one senior center. You know, but I mean, we're talking their guys' senior center and our senior center.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll try to hit as many of the senior publications as we can.
okay.
Like right now, we're in the silver, the Leelanau County, Leelanau Enterprise Silver Edition, so quarterly, we have an ad in that right now, so.
Good.
It's my mom and dad.
They're on the front cover
Of the strategic plan.
Oh, nice, nice. You're gonna get an extra big birthday cake.
The two.
Yeah. Will be in.
I thought you did picture of Linda. And then one guy kind of looks like Linda, but like that.
Did we have you in the last photo shoot? I can't remember if we did or not, yeah. I don't think we
She
did.
kind of looks like.
Oh, no, she does look a little like.
She looks like Linda a little bit, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Look, is that Linda?
That's what I thought first, my first glance to it. I don't need a motion, but did we get, prices from any other firms on this?
So we did do an RFP process, to select the vendor, and Brantonic was our top choice. We did not, get any prices for the plan itself. It was, we selected the vendor and they outlined the plan. But we did go through a process to
That's what I
select the
mean there,
vendor.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion to approve, the brand tonic communication plan and expenditure of $126,500 as presented.
Support.
She just.
Right, great,
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, support.
support. We don't need a roll call vote. do we?
No.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I oppose. And I'll explain during comments.
Okay, motion carries. Okay. Well, I guess that could be a board discussion, item, Joe, so we get the numbers.
It is, it has nothing to do with the plan, it's a fantastic plan. I like it very much, but, serving in government for a long time, I fundamentally oppose taxpayer dollars being used for advertising. PR is one thing, advertising is another. So I have very consistently voted against using taxpayer dollars for buying ads. So.
Second public comment. None?
I guess I'll be going more to staff discussion. I just want to say, it's a great thing that you're doing because it'll take my job away of telling everybody I need walking dogs. It's all about the free bait line. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. She would.
No, you'll still find word of mouth is still the most
Look at
effective,
this,
so,
really?
I mean, because you think,
Yes.
still word of mouth.
Thanks, Linda.
Yes, thank you. Open floor, director comments, anybody? I'm going bird hunting for a week with my dog,
Fun.
so.
I did talk to Jerry a couple days ago. He said there's still a few little things on the punch list.
Mhm.
How are they making out on that?
We're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. It feels like we're just chasing a few little gremlins. I was describing it to someone the other day. It's like when you move into a house that's been occupied by someone else and everything has worked perfectly fine. And then a new family moves into it and it's like the energy clash of the facility, like all of a sudden you have an issue with this or
Yeah.
that. And then just being in the facility and using the stuff is exposing different things that we weren't aware of that needed to be refined. A lot of issues with doors, like not the garage doors. but- But like actual, just like the doors, like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, maybe that's a known thing in the construction industry. I was not aware that doors are so finicky,
It
but
can be,
apparently,
especially
you know.
closers.
yeah, and a card access system and, you know, a lot of the technology challenges, things like that, but the subs are getting out there, they're responding, they're, you know, they've dug up the lower ground for the third time, like just when we get grass growing, and like, oh, there they are digging the grass again. But that's what you gotta do to fix an irrigation system that's not working properly, so, you know, stuff like that, just refining it, nothing major,
No major like mechanical issues
No.
or anything like that.
nothing major. Yeah, we're getting down to the bottom of the list. I think I'm adding less things than we're taking away. So making progress.
And what progress on getting a level 3 charger?
Oh.
There's significantly more money.
The level 3 charger has gone round and round, but we are back to having permission from MDOT to use, 4 pre-qualified vendors. So I think we're back on track of being able to submit that procurement to them and that should speed things along. But we got into a little bit of a holding pattern while we were deciding whether or not they were gonna allow transit systems to use the pre-qualified vendors. I'm not sure what the point of the pre-qualifying vendors would have been if you're not gonna allow people to use them, but you know, I digress. So we are continuing to work on it. Also should be hearing any day now on 2 grants that we had submitted last year. One was, part of the shared spaces grant, the $200,000 that MDOT announced. that we did, we submitted for welfare improvements on the East Bay Beach District. And then the other was for the solar array on the rooftop of the new headquarters facility.
So you haven't heard about that yet?
We have not, but it's coming out.
You know, we applied for it too.
Yeah, we're competing for it, that's right.
Yeah, we pretty much decided that you'd probably get it instead of us.
Okay. Well, I will say that I have a good feeling. We've been getting a lot of follow-up questions and from them in their decision-making, and I have a good feeling, but fingers crossed. And they're supposed to be announcing it by the end of the month, so only a couple days left.
Yeah.
Did they say which month?
Yeah.
They did say they were jammed, they had a lot of last minute applications.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, the application.
Which is what I
12 months ago, so I don't know. But just as a reminder, so that grant was for, maximizing our solar capacity up on the rooftop. So it was about $1 million of solar implementation. What we had in the project budget is, like a minimal solar installation, and that's still in the budget, 271,000, I think we have earmarked for that. And so if we're not successful, we can always just put up the small array. But if we are successful with the grant, then we will be able to generate more than our needs even.
Wow.
Wow.
So that would be really great.
Big solar energy, man.
Yeah, so you sell it back for the credits. Yeah, so fingers crossed. I'll keep you posted. Yeah.
Say, our facility staff and our IT staff have been doing an amazing job at moving into the building, moving out of our building. We haven't added staff, and they've done an amazing job and, fixing this, jumping this around the clock, really, all hours of the night, and, they're just doing an amazing job. Those two particular departments, others are also, but
Yeah,
just like to give a shout out to the facilities and our technology staff.
absolutely.
Moving to the pain anyway.
They don't complain,
Say
you just
moving
see how
is a
positive
pain.
Oh,
they are.
moving is a pain.
They're just so
Yeah.
And
positive.
it's been going on for so long. It's been like, since the middle of July, so it's been a move, but we're there, and there's nothing left to cast.
All right.
Do we
Or
need a
diamond,
motion
for
to
that
adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks,
We
everyone.
have an idea when we meet.